Let's talk about politics. You are in a new party, the ruling party, the APC. How has it been, especially, the integration process? Is it really safe in the APC, or was it safer in the PDP?
If you recall, when we migrated from the PDP into the APC, I mentioned the reasons why that movement became necessary. And as at that time, I capped it all with the issue of the change.
I can't remember what you said, but I know the governor said
there was a change.
The governor said he was surrounded by his enemies in the PDP.
No, not exactly. What we said was that there was a change in the taste of the palm wine, and it became necessary to also adjust the drinking pattern. And that was what we did, taking a look at what was happening in the PDP. And from what you have seen since that time, you could see that indeed, somehow our governor saw tomorrow. Now, we have also seen that the president is showing us even much more love than he was showing us even before now. That means that even while we're in the PDP, there was love. But coming to become member of a family is like a relationship between, for instance, a man and a woman. By the time you are outside, the man has not spoken to you, you have not become the wife, the relationship cannot be the same as to now when you become a member of the same family and possibly you have his name now as your surname. And so there's a whole lot of advantage that we have derived by working with a man who have also shown love to our dear state. And we have also mentioned that every politics is local. In which case, if this politics benefits the environment where you find yourself, it is not a bad thing to navigate towards that. But you asked earlier in the course of your question as to how we are also managing to wield the different interests that exist in our new party. There are a number of individuals who have moved before we did, in which case you may want to call them before now old APC members. And then those of us who have come to join them. But what has happened now is that all of us have become members of that political party. You do not expect that the moment you move in, everybody will be on the same page. That is not likely going to be so. But what the governor has done in these periods since the 28th of April this year that we move is to be able to manage all the interests and bring a whole lot of people together. Which is why not too long ago, you saw the outcome of the stakeholders meeting in Asaba. That almost everybody, the who is who in the political equation of data.
But how well has he done that? And has it been fair enough? Because Honorable Fabruku was here, and these are his words. He says, we're happy the governor has joined us, but APC would have captured the state in 2027, even if he didn't join. But the more the merrier. But the governor must speak to his people. They are bullying us. They are trying to sideline us. How do you respond to that allegation?
I also had the privilege of watching that particular interview, and I saw when my brother Fabruku also acknowledged that the governor is doing very, very well. I saw him, he acknowledged that. And what is the essence of politics, if not to improve the lives of the people? So he acknowledged that the governor is doing very, very well in terms of developing the state. He also acknowledged that there have been a whole lot of individuals who have also been able to see the need to recognize that the governor is the leader of the party. He said that much. If there are maybe one or two persons who feel that things needed to be done differently, it is not unexpected in any political setting. Because you are talking about individuals who may have different interests. And I do know that in the course of that interview you had with him, he somehow narrowed down to Delta Central senatorial issues. That there are individuals who have interests. Naturally, in any political setting, people are bound to have interest. And what is important is that as you make progress, you continue to manage those interests. And don't forget, as we navigate towards the 2027 general elections, you are going to see individuals who have different interests. And what those interests we want to do is that, for instance, if I'm interested in a senatorial seat, and you are interested in a senatorial seat, and I happen to be in a meeting, a particular meeting with the governor, either for the purpose of talking about a different thing, not even political. The moment you see me, it is possible that when I leave the governor's place, I will come and tell you, everybody, governor is my man, Jimmy is not going to have it. That is me talking. That is not the governor talking. Okay. That is me trying to use that to protect and, of course, advance my interest. It happens in any political setting. And so if that is happening, that is not out of place for individuals to want to lay claim to being closer to the governor. If I claim that I'm closer to the governor, you too, who also wants the same position, can also take steps to also be closer to the governor, because to a very large extent, the governor who is doing well has a number of persons believing in him.
Absolutely. But have you considered how deep-rooted that crisis may have been for him to have come on television?
It is not, no, it's not a crisis. Why, don't forget that we're in a democracy. Democracy does not mean that every individual should be able to also have the latitude to speak to the issues as it affects him. That an individual has come to the television to talk about certain, what you may call grievances, does not mean the person is bitter. That is what democracy offers you. And so, what is important is that, number one, he agreed that we are all in the same party. He agreed that the governor is doing very, very well. He also agreed that there has been a whole lot of marriage, but that perhaps there could be some individuals, which you may call tendencies, that may not be moving with the same speed that they expect.
But he said those tendencies are supporters of the governor. I
don't think there's anybody who is not supporting the governor. These tendencies I've given you that, number one, it's about interest. And I gave an example with me, between both of us, that if I'm interested in what you are interested in, and I feel that dropping the name of the governor will give me an advantage.
Who is interested in what, Mr. Anyago?
Individuals. We are talking about politicians. There are individuals. Don't forget, 2027 election is coming. There is a whole lot of down ballot. In Delta today, by the grace of God, because of the performance of our governor, the likelihood that there are individuals who may want to begin to compete with him is very, very narrow, because already they are intimidated by his performance. But at the level of the down ballot, you are not going to foreclose the tendencies of individuals wanting to go to House of Assembly, want to House of Reps, and want to go to the Senate.
He gave me names, but we'll have to go on a break, and when we come back, we'll expatiate this conversation. Stay with us, everyone. Thank you very much for staying with us, everyone. Tonight, we focused on political and infrastructure developments in Delta State. And I've been speaking with Charles Anyago as the Commissioner for Works, Rural Roads and Public Information in Delta State. Mr. Anyago, thank you very much for staying with us on the program. So let's be clear just before we move on. Is the governor's leadership subject to debate? Are there individuals in Delta State questioning his position as a leader of the party?
No, I'm not sure anybody's doing that. And I'm also happy that my brother for Buruku did not also do that.
So still talking about litigation, he says in some local government areas, he mentioned Ughelli North and Ethiopia West. He says
Ethiopia West. Ethiopia West.
Yes.
Okay.
It says there have been kangaroo suspensions and removal of party officials without due process. Are you aware of that?
No, who removed them? It's not the governor that did. If in every...
He kept saying these people are supporters of the governor.
If you get to a party... No, that's not true. That's not true. In any political party, there are processes that governs what is done in that political party.
He also said party executive members have been bought over.
No, processes as to how people emerge, processes as to how they can be removed. Even at the ward level. If you have a chairman who is not doing what he's supposed to do, whether he has become high-handed, the people in that ward are empowered.
Was that why they removed him?
No, I'm talking, I said they are empowered. So if there are 1 or 2 local governments where that has happened, the question is, did the people in that local government see the need? If we have 25 local governments and all the other local government chairmen are still intact, and possibly 1 or 2 persons are trying to do things to undermine the fortunes of the party, the individuals who play politics in that local government are free to come together for the purpose of taking a decision as to how they are going to move forward. Perhaps that is what happened. So if it happens, and that the people in that local government believe that their local government chairman, party chairman, is progressing in error, it is up to them, following the law, to right the wrongs for the purpose of advancing the fortunes of that political party within that particular enclave. And so if that has happened, you don't go and pin it on any other person. What is very much important is that, number one, the governor is the leader of the state, both politically as the political leader of the party, the APC, and also as the governor who governs the state and having every machinery of government in the state under his watch. Good enough. My brother that you talked about recognized that much. And most importantly, he was clear on the fact that the governor is performing. He even did say, jokingly, that the governor, since he came into APC, has redoubled his efforts. He says so. And so if he has redoubled his effort, that is good for us. But what I know is that from day one, that Oborowori has continued to maintain a speed towards making Delta a much more livable state. And he has not, at any time, looked backwards. Instead, he's increasing the momentum day by day. Not long ago, he was able to get the ESCO to approve the award of a contract for the construction of a flyover across the Uromi Junction in Abo, which is going to cost the state government as much as 59 billion. And that job was given to no less a construction company than Julius Berger.
Come back to governance. Let's stay on these political issues within the party.
Yeah, no, all these are part of the facts. The fact as to how he's performing has a way of also galvanizing the people. Because number one, there is one thing to have the political class behind you. There is another which is much more important, to have the people behind you. And how do you get the people to come behind you? They come behind you by seeing that you are giving them what Nigerians call dividends of democracy.
But then,
and that's why this issue of infrastructure is interwoven.
Is factionalized. I mean, what is the essence?
No, what do you mean by factionalized? No.
Because
Jimmy, political party and politics is made up of what you call concentric circle of conspiracy, where the conspirators come to be able to see how they can gain power. That you belong to one political party does not mean you cannot disagree. What is important is that disagreement at the end of the day is able to lead to a consensus.
I hear
that
you,
consensus does not also necessarily mean that everybody is going to be on the same page. But it's a consensus that has been able to galvanize larger portion of the people to think in one direction for the purpose of advancing the good of society.
But I think his grouse is that the governor understands these concerns and that the governor understands that some old members of the party have registered some of these concerns to him, but he's not doing anything.
That is not true.
All they want is for the governor to speak to his people, to stop bullying them. I mean, these are his words.
Now, Jimmy, I'm happy he told you that
I really need to
about 3 weeks ago.
But I need you to address this
I'm
issue.
happy that he told you that about 3 weeks ago, there was a meeting of the who is who in the APC in the government house in Asaba, where the governor and the president were endorsed for the 2027 general elections. Now, there were no dissenting voice in that very, very high-profile gathering. That meeting did not take place on May 28, 2025, on April 28. What does that mean? It means that after the governor has consulted with members of his initial political family in the PDP, he saw the need to also, beyond going from the ward to the local government to the House of the federal constituencies and the senatorial districts, there was the need to now have a harmonized meeting at the state level. And why were those meetings taking place? Those meetings were being held for the purpose of bringing everybody to move in one direction in line with the party manifesto. So having caused meetings to happen at the ward level, the governor also caused meetings to happen at the local government level. That navigated to the federal constituencies and later to the senatorial districts. After the senatorial district, then there was now the need to marry the 3 senatorial districts, Delta Central, Delta North, and Delta South. That culminated in that meeting that took place in the government house just about 3 weeks ago. And what happened in the course of that meeting? Individuals were very, very free. The chairman of the political party, the sector chairman at the different senatorial districts spoke. All the senators of the party that represent the states on the platform of the party, 3 of them, they were there, they spoke, agreeing that the governor has provided leadership. In short, one of them, specifically, Senator Ede Dafinona, was clear that there were a whole lot of things that they were not able to attract whilst the governor was in the PDP. Because as at that time, the state were not being governed, were not being put together by one leader. But that with the governor coming in, there's now one leader that is helping to push the agenda of the growth of the state. So that is happening does not mean that individuals who may have certain aspirations cannot begin to tell stories that are at variance with reality.
And talking about aspirations and senatorial ambitions, earlier you were talking about individuals, and I said, I have names. I want you to speak to this dynamic. Because Honorable Fabrizio is of the Ovio Magege camp. Am I correct?
I don't know.
According to
I
him,
don't know if I don't know. I don't know. No, I don't know if they have camp. I don't know. I'm not aware.
He confirmed that to me. And part of what I've heard also is that the former Deputy Senate President is not happy with the governor because he has failed to address these concerns. There is also the Ovio Magege camp versus the Olorogun camp. The battle for Delta Central intensifies. What exactly is happening?
That is what I told you earlier, that
and you refuse to give us names.
No, as we approach the 2027 general elections, you will expect that individuals that have either common or divergent interests.
And the governor is in support of Olorogun's ambition.
That is, I'm not aware of what you're talking about. The governor believes that everybody should be able to come together first. For two important reasons. One, to be able to win the elections for the party, and to be able to also make the president secure the reasonable number of votes that he should secure from the state. These individuals have now become children of one parent, the APC. You know that they talk about primaries. Why do they talk about primaries? It means that there are many people who, even within the same political party, will come together for the purpose of looking for something within that political party. And after that primaries, that is when you become a candidate. At the level of the primaries, you are an aspirant. Now, when you win after the primaries, you now become a candidate to fly the flag of that political party. So as we navigate towards the election, you are going to see these different tendencies coming up. Everybody will tell their stories. But you know what? These are stories that are still allowed in any political arena. What is most important is the choice that the people will make at the end of the day. One, for you to become the candidate of the party. But it doesn't stop there. Because even after you have become the candidate of the party, you will now carry the flag of the party, the identity of the party, to confront the opposing political party. And at that moment, you will still need these individuals who may have contested with you at the level of the primaries. So, Jumi, if you are thinking any day that you will get to that level where everybody, because they belong to one political party, will just sing hallelujah, particularly ahead of a political election, that's not going to happen.
But do you also agree that, you know, these kinds of conversations, conflict, accusations will always come up until political parties do all they can to protect its autonomy from the executive branch of government across the country? If
there are no conversations as to how individuals are having interest and how those interests are being galvanized for the purpose of advancing the cause of politics and governance, the environment will become too dull for you to even operate.